Hey guys, my name is TheRussianBadger, and finally a video on Back to Karkan. It's not like this thing came out 3 months ago or anything, but regardless, I have so much to speak about. Like, I want to talk about the upcoming DLC, some of the patch changes, the Famas, and everything else. But a 1-piece and a 2-piece and a 3-piece Mega Biscuit. And I know it frustrates you as much as it frustrates me, but I did not revive that gentleman over there. I think we do the same thing, you and I. I think we both watch it back and we say, Badger, why did you make this decision over that decision? That was clearly the wrong choice. You are very unintelligent, but I agree with you. And nice try, Stephen Fry. I don't think anybody ever taught him how to Dougie. I don't think anybody ever taught him that the Famas clearly kills faster than any other automatic weapon, with the one exception, and it pains me to even tell you that this weapon exists in a Battlefield game, but of course the USAS. I mean, we all know what the USAS is. So allow me to rephrase my statement. The Famas kills faster, or kills the fastest among all the automatic weapons with the exception of the USAS, of the abomination of the USAS. That's a little bit better, in my opinion. But the USAS, perfect segue into the DLC. Alright, bro. The first thing I want to say, very clearly, don't judge a book by its cover. Now what I mean by that is, and granted, I've read many books where it's like, this book has an awful cover, and then I read the book and I say, that was a genuinely awful book. At no point in time did I ever feel any sense of joy while reading this story. That was genuinely awful, and I hope that this book is somehow burned in the future. Like, we all have that instance where, yeah, the book has an awful cover and it's an awful book, but sometimes, actually, most of the time I say, don't judge a book by its cover. Just because the trailer's bad doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be bad, but I'll weigh the pros and cons of both. And here, I was just channeling my inner Altair, sort of my Assassin's Creed tactic. I thought I could jump from rooftop to rooftop, and then sort of stealthily just end somebody. I use the term stealthily very loosely here, but I tried it, and it didn't work. You know what? It's what I thought was going to happen and what actually happened are two totally different things, just like the DLC. What you think the DLC is going to be and what it actually is probably two very different things. Now, yes, I'll weigh the con of, since Rush Mode is being omitted, and that was actually confirmed for me this morning, Rush Mode is omitted. It seems like it's really built around, I mean, the close quarters obviously built around Team Deathmatch, Squad Deathmatch, so forth. I'm skeptical to say that I'm going to like it, but I don't want my opinion to, like, make up your mind for you. I'm not really any sort of authority. I don't think my opinion weighs more than anybody else's, but the lack of any sort of objective type other than, you know, Squad Deathmatch and Team Deathmatch is sort of off-putting. But good morning, Carl. Why don't you climb that ladder a little bit faster? And that, I know that's sort of a goofy tactic that I did. I know you saw that, like, why did you clear the entire building from top to bottom before you went and you armed the objective? But I have been killed so many times, but I armed the objective, and then everybody, there's like a gab fest on the top of the roof, everybody comes down and just slaughters me. So it's almost like a policy of mine now where I clear the entire building from top to bottom. I check every sink, every corner, every bathtub, wherever it is. I check it from top to bottom before I arm the objective. Okay, and I don't think I have anything else to discuss further with the DLC. I'm going to say it's sort of off-putting with the lack of objective play, but I want to say one more time, don't judge it until it comes out. And yes, it's all, I'm hesitant to say that I'm going to buy it if they make us pay for it, like another $15 for 4 maps that are all close quarters with no vehicles and no objectives. Sort of off-putting, but yet again, I want to say, guys, keep an open mind. It could be the best thing that ever happened, or it could be awful. It could be one of the two, but don't judge it until it comes out. That's all I have to say. Once it comes out, feel free to tear it apart or glorify it till the cows come home, but just wait for its release. That's all I want to say. In June, by the way. I believe it's June. And beyond that, okay, so we have the DLC completely out of the way. Beyond that, I want to talk about the Famas. Okay, so the Famas in a nutshell kills extremely quickly, but has a very, very slow reload. I think we've gone over this before, and you guys know that it's not going to be the same. I almost want to see, like, good night, sweet prince. It's never going to be the same ever again. And that's the reason why I'm using it in this gameplay. It's never going to be what it is right now. So what it is right now, you can see on my HUD with 31 rounds, it's never going to be like that ever again. It's going to have 25 rounds after this, and 1 Glock, 2 Glock, 3 Glock, 4, and you're going to notice that I'm using the silence Glock here, and that's all because of Splinter Cell. I've had sort of a nostalgia weekend, if you will. I've been playing Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell Age of Empires, Age of Mythology, all the games that I started out with, and those are extremely fun. Despite the fact that in Splinter Cell I go a little bit too covert, and this is where, like, you see that shot right there, you can easily tell an M16 is much more successful in that specific situation, and that's where the Famas suffers. I think I've gone over this before a little bit, but I didn't really get into it. I don't want to say I want to go. I went really in depth in that other Famas video. I think I sort of touched on it, but obviously slow reload, a lot of recoil, sort of inaccurate, is balanced off by this thing kills extremely quickly and still has 31 rounds. But obviously the nerf is bringing it down to 25 rounds, so I don't know if that's justified. I don't know if anybody's ever going to use it, because 25 rounds with 1,000 rounds per minute and a really slow reload, it seems like you're going to be reloading more than you're doing anything. You're going to be reloading more than you're breathing. Like, I think to myself, if I upload anything after the patch of the Famas, it's just going to be, was this a gameplay, or was this like a reload tutorial? I don't know. What was this, Badger? Why are you being such a catfish, like reloading every 2 seconds? And I know it's going to be goofy, but okay. So right here in this situation in the match, I saw the tank was just dominating us. Like that big Barfa tank was not moving. He was squatting on the objective, and I said to myself, I'm going to adapt and overcome. Like, yes, it would be good. It's a lot of people like to stay in that comfort zone of I use the weapon that I'm best with and meow 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 meow. But I switched to the G36C mainly because I need the RPG. I need the Swan. Nice try. That guy's trying to be a trickster, some kind of like Sam Fisher stealth behind us. That's not going to work. Just because my radar is so handy dandy. That handy dandy radar, very convenient. But I made the conscious decision just to switch to the engineer kit because I knew the tank had to go down. And number two, I'd like to do this on this specific objective. You saw what just popped up on your screen, explosive destroyed. And it doesn't seem very logical to do this, but I always like to have some sort of explosive projectile for this base because for some reason everybody just stacks those claymores. They stack claymores and C4 right in an MCOM, and it gets me every time. So not only does the small perhaps clear out any kind of enemies that is just sitting right in the corner next to the objective, it also gets rid of claymores and C4 and anything else that's going to just blow your legs off if you run towards it or you rush towards it. So I say, okay, I got all the claymores. That tree, I think that tree is trying to do some kind of Dougie. I don't get what those trees are doing, but I noticed that everything's kind of calmed down, so I channel my inner Sam Fisher and I just kind of just sneak in here real nice and light, and then I get it, and then I run over to the corner. This is the bad part, though. This is the worst part about hiding in a corner. You don't really have much of a choice because you don't always have the angles. Like if I were to go to a rooftop, you don't always have the angles. But as soon as you kill somebody, they know that you're there. They know generally what corner you're in, so it's difficult. It's always difficult to get the second guy. Do you guys know what I'm saying? You always have that bush monster or that recon, that cloth monster that goes in first, just like, oh, what's going on? Like, clearly he's the bait. He's the bait to draw out the enemy that's sitting in the corner. But that second guy, always the toughest guy to get. Regardless, I got both objectives on the first set, and I ain't even mad, bro. I ain't even mad. Like, despite the fact that the ticket count was fairly low, it was a little bit too low for my liking. I got both objectives, and we got the base. And now, sometimes I just think to myself, it's such a hard decision. It's just like when I pick my pistol every single game. And what am I, 12? Do you really think I'm gonna miss that A-team hide? Do you think I'm 12 years old and I don't look for those things anymore? Especially when I have thermal vision. But I really have been torn between that. I don't know the specific name for it. I've tried it, but what is with these trees, bro? Like, I respawned, got in a tank, drove. I don't understand. They have some sort of cancer? That's very terrifying. I did not notice this prior to speaking over this gameplay. I did not notice that those trees were doing some sort of dance. I don't know if it's the Cat Daddy or the Dougie. I know the Dougie is personally my favorite, but this guy, by the way, Vegas, why do you do this to me? Why do you give me a black screen? Okay. For some reason, Vegas always gives me a black screen when something great's about to happen. Like, and I'm coming around the corner, inside the wall. It's like a basketball game, and Vegas goes black on me. But that guy was so helpful in taking out those tanks that came down that main column. See, he's always firing those things. I think it got a little carried away near the end where there was no tank presence, and I think you'll see it here. He's still firing them, like trying to curve them like Angelina Jolie in Wanted. I don't know what he was trying to hit, but he was such a great guy for taking out the tank. He can shoot those all he wants. And what I was going to say was, I am still torn between whatever the shotgun projectile, the secondary weapon on the tank, and I almost think of the secondary weapon as the primary. I want to say in Bad Company 2 that main tank, the main turret, I used a lot more against infantry than I do in Battlefield 3. The secondary weapon is really what you want to use. I mean, obviously, if you miss your tank shell, or even sometimes I'll hit a guy like directly in the shins, and it's like, how did that guy not die? But oftentimes, I just say, you know what, don't even waste your time with a main turret, unless there's a lot of, you see here, anybody could be lurking in any nook and cranny, and even that main tank blast was fairly, very close to that guy, but didn't kill him, and I just used the automatic machine gun much, much more in the main turret. That's what I'm trying to say. And what I wanted to complete with that thought is that I still like to use the automatic, I believe it's the light machine gun, secondary attachment on the tank over the, whatever that shotgun blast is. It's like that boom, 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 whatever that is. I know a lot of other people have a lot of success with it, but I don't find the same success. I think I like this because of the range. The range is so ridiculous. There's like no bullet drop off. Very, very accurate, very little spread. And you can even see, as I get people on rooftops over here, it's very, very successful. Like, look. Okay, so this guy's up on the rooftop. Actually, I don't think anybody pops out here. Does he? Does he pop out? Does he pop? No, I don't think anybody pops out. No, nobody pops out. But I can just say that even with the LMG, I can get people at such extreme distances. I don't see the reason to use the shotgun blast. Now, perhaps, I don't know if it's a personal preference thing or if it's just straight up one is better than the other. But this guy here, I share the same direct impacted. And that's one situation where if you got to kill a guy extremely quickly, that's what I'm talking about right there. Very little spread, very, very direct shots, no bullet drop. Perfect. Just perfect. And this guy here, he was getting very, very sad. As you can see in the chat, stop moving! And that is very annoying. Especially when I play with my buddy DJ. He's the guy that is, he's something like, okay, he's also Russian, but he's something like 3rd in the world in overall tank kills, and he's just ridiculous overall. But when he moves around when I'm trying to repair him, I agree that it is very, very annoying. And there's two sides of that coin. Number one, you have to maneuver around, and that guy's... Did that Carl actually stay in that tank? I didn't even realize that he did that. I think he might have stayed in the tank, or maybe it was someone trying to steal my own tank and then exploded, but this is one situation where it's just... SMG is not always favorable. I think to myself, sort of the bouncy recoil and the lack of damage over range, it's not as favorable like the G36C. But that sort of segues me into the M16. Okay, the M16, and okay, of course I got that gentleman there. But the M16 A3 and the M4 are not being touched in the upcoming patch, and I see a little bit of a problem with this. And you guys know the M16 is not necessarily amazing at everything, but it's good at everything. It's decent at everything, and that's what makes it amazing. Because it's decent with this and decent with that, and yes, I got this guy on the rooftop, but yes, again, why does he always go black on me? The screen always goes black. I don't understand this, but okay. If I soften that guy up that much, he deserves to die with a small. There's a distinct difference, guys, between spamming smalls, like, like, I spam smalls all day, like, meow, 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 and Operation Metro, like, my primary weapon is a small. There's a distinct difference between small spam and polishing a guy off with a small. You guys saw how many hit markers I got on that guy. He had, like, a sliver of health at most. Like, there's no, it's not morally objectionable, in my personal opinion, to finish him off with a small. I don't think I see any kind of compelling reason not to do that. I don't really consider that catfishery, if you ask me, but, okay. I don't really see how the M16 A3 and the M4 A1 are not being nerfed. I just don't get it. I really don't understand how something that has that kind of accuracy over range and still does fairly well in close quarters, and especially you guys have seen people like Rival X Factor and some of those pro guys, they all use the M16 or the, obviously some use the AK as well, but the M16 A3 extremely good at all ranges, and it is, I think it's going to be the dominant assault rifle after this patch. But look at this guy. I walked all the way up here. I don't approve of your conduct. Give me your sandwich, dog. And I also did not exactly like his name. I decided to sort some sort of 360 no scope. I don't even know why I did that. But I try to use a reference point here. I thought to myself, okay, If this guy's looking around, what does he see from up here? Like, what kind of angles does he have on the enemies? Now, obviously, my allies are his enemies, and his allies are my enemies. Obviously, it's a little bit different. But right here, this is like Assassin's Creed. It was, like, not that far, okay? It's not even that high. I was at 57% health, and jumping off this building is not even that high. But this is what it looked like to me. And it seems like the other guy that was tossing out bro boxes, the support guy, it seemed like he was Altair in this position, and I was the guy on the far left. Now, those of you that have played, I don't know about this, bro. I don't know about jumping out. I don't know about this. But it seemed like the other guy, the LMG guy, he was Altair, and I was the other guy that just jumped down and just screamed in pain. Like, look, he's Altair, jumps virtually no damage, and then look at me, do the same thing. Oh god, help me, Tom Cruise, my legs. I almost just died. And after I was done shattering my patellas and smashing my femurs, there was 4 distinct mistakes that I made consecutively. Mistake number 1 was jumping into a Chatty Cathy Gap Fest. Always a horrible idea because 3 guns versus 1 is always a losing fight. Number 2, my mistake number 2 was that I spawned on a squad mate in front of a tank. You always want to check the surroundings of your ally before you spontaneously pop out of his rectum. Now, mistake number 3 was a little bit goofier. I don't know how this rendered an explosion. I don't know. That's pretty astronomical as it actually occurred, but how did that happen? With a mass shotgun from that range? Was that like frag rounds, or what was that? Did he hit some sort of... Oh, this is a conveniently placed red explosive gasoline barrel right in front of your cover. Have a nice day. Maybe that was it, but my 4th mistake was claymores. Despite the fact this kid is a huge catfish for using claymores, I should have been smart enough to know that, you know, people that use claymores are usually smart enough to know that it takes 2 claymores ordinarily to kill somebody, so I should have looked for the second one. The first one's really not my fault, but you should be always looking for that second claymore that's going to kill you. Those were the 4 mistakes that I made. My early game was great, like you saw. My mid game was those major 4 mistakes. My late game, I will save for later. But this is exactly why I love the Famas. The ability to put that much damage downrange so quickly is just wonderful. And good morning, Carl. Did you really think you're going to lurk in my spawn forever? That's not the way it works. And Ross and Sean, bro. And you actually... I could tell you guys were thinking that I was not going to revive that gentleman. Of course I was going to revive that gentleman. And, okay, so this kid here... What are we doing on the stairs? I don't understand what we're doing here, but he think he got it. But nah, dog, he ain't got it. He ain't got it, dog. I want to say that was all calculated, that I was going to live with 2% health, but it really wasn't. That was purely dumb luck, but I'm very, very happy that I came out of the engagement on top. I really actually thought I was going to die in that situation. I'm very, very glad that I did not. And like I said, okay, you guys saw the early game was great. You know, I earned a bunch of MCOMs. Basically put a team on my back door. I gotta put the team on my back door. How you running with a broken leg though? If you guys have not seen that video, you really need to. But as you saw, my early game was very, very successful. Mid game was those major 4 mistakes. After I took that guy's sandwich and broke my knees, I made 4 major mistakes that made my mid game just horrible. And then late game was wonderful because, well, you'll see in a second. But before I dive into exactly what happened up here at this final MCOM station, set of MCOM stations, I want to say, or I want to make a declaration right now. Number 1, I want to apologize for... I really hate the live stream link videos. I know a lot of you share the same feelings. I know you share the same feelings of, I really don't want this in my sub box. I don't want this link video on my sub box. I'd rather see an actual Russian Badger video instead of an actual just link video. That's very, very awful if you ask me. So, this is my new schedule and I'm going to try to stick with. Since my schedule in my real life is sort of loosened up a little bit, how about this? I will upload a video every Friday, and that video will mark the start of my live stream. And I know it seems a little goofy. It seems like you get no Russian Badger all week, and then Friday night as much Russian Badger as you want. It's like starving for 10 days, and then all of a sudden, you eat like 10 pounds. I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's the way I'm going to do it. Every Friday, once I upload the video for the week, or that week's video, if you will, that will mark the start of the live stream, and that will get rid of all the link videos that you guys hate so much. Hopefully that will appease most of you and make everything better. And that will also increase the upload rate, which I think I like, because there's been something in my schedule that has been very, very bearing, and it's kind of eaten up all my time, and that certain thing in my schedule has gone away. And I won't explain exactly what that thing is, and I tried to revive through the wall with the wall hacks, but didn't exactly work. But since my schedule has loosened up a little bit, I'm now going to try a video every single week. I'm going to try it, see if it works, and hopefully it does. And I love the Famas so much. I don't even know why, but okay, right here, I channel my inner Splinter Cell. I don't know how that hipfire worked, but for this guy right here, I went so tactical on him. It was like Splinter Cell, okay? It was so tactical. It's like I shot out all the lights, and then I threw the glass to distract him, and then I snuck up behind him, and then got him in the chokehold. I felt so tactical when I did this. So tactical. Like, and then all of a sudden, you see, he's in complete darkness right here. Complete darkness. I'm virtually a ghost. I'm Sam Fisher the Ghost, and put a couple shots in him just for fair, just to make sure that he's dead. And then you see no witnesses. Well, with the exception of that guy, but he doesn't really count, does he? Because he's a civilian and he's dead.
You just gunned down a civilian, right?
Why does Lambert always have to be on my case? Like, Lambert is literally the worst part of every Splinter Cell game ever. Just, Fisher, you did this wrong. But see, I totally juked this guy, lurked in the darkness, and somehow got him. And the suppressed pistol worked so well, and I don't think I was channeling my inner Sam Fisher on that last one. I think that was fairly horrible on my part, and I think that's the downfall. For some reason, I can hipfire from what seems like 1,500 yards, and I'll still kill the guy. But if I aim down sight, point blank, somehow it just doesn't. The aiming, the recoil, I don't know what it is, just doesn't work out for me. I don't know how this works, but I just had to leave this gabfest of my teammates. Every single one is just a chatty Cathy. Like, my squad was just sitting there the entire time in that building. And you'll notice this, okay? You'll notice this. Number one, this guy was a ghost, okay? I don't know what kind of sorcery this was. I don't know if he jumped over the railing to go swimming. It basically said, disregard enemies, let's go swimming. Let's grab some water wings and leave this place. But this was sort of a misconception. You see how it looks like on my HUD ahead of me right now? I'm with a ton of teammates. Good morning, Carl. They were all still sitting in that little shack. I didn't understand. I thought they were somehow like right over there near the objective, and I didn't realize at the time that I was the only one in this warehouse. It took me a while to figure that out, and this is where the M16A3 would be much better. Look, more Ovaltine and more hit markers, please. Like, look at that. That's so many hit markers. Okay, look at this one, too. Okay, come here, you. Come here, Cloth. Okay, how many hit markers is that? I feel as if the M16A3, in terms of spread and recoil, is so much better at that range. Picture this weapon right here with 25 rounds. I don't think it's going to be able to compete with the M16A3 at all. That's my opinion. I'm not going to complain about it, but got that headshot in the corner, dog. I don't know how he didn't see me, but I'm very, very happy that he did not. And I was able to get the MCOM with, what, 12 tickets left? Very, very close. My teammates did a very, very good job getting the other objective, which I can't complain about. And you see, I do this dance here, and as you saw, I started regenerating health. It's like a health regeneration dance, despite the fact that I do have health. And this guy gave me, thanks Jamal for the band-aids, bro chacho. And I'm so glad that on that last set of objectives, my team did some of the work. Like, there's an extent to which I can carry, but there's an extent to which I really can't. And that's going to be your bonus clip, alright? This is going to be Operation Metro. This is going to be what is so frustrating about the game sometimes. A lot of you ask me, sometimes I complain on Twitter, you know, saying, meow, 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 I'm really angry about this, but this is why I'm angry. I'm angry when I can carry a team this hard, or this is in reference to the bonus clip, not this specific gameplay here, but it infuriates me that I can carry a team this hard and they do nothing to help me. They don't even help defend the MCOMs. Like, bro, all you have to do is shoot at an object called an MCOM and randomly hit people that are near it. It's just frustrating. But please enjoy the bonus clip. I will see you guys next time. Auf Wiedersehen und bis bald. And I'm going to see if the schedule works. Hopefully the schedule works. Hopefully it's on like Betty Spaghetti. And I will see you guys next time. See you later, and after watching this over again, I don't even know what I'm talking about half the time. But I think that's what makes me me. If you don't understand anything that's going on in this video, I think you interpreted it correctly. So I will see you guys next time. Later.